Okay, let's not beat around the bush. We both know why you're here, so let's just get into it. Is it possible to beat Kirby's epic yarn without pressing right? Two things before we start. One, you should subscribe since it helps me out and it makes you really cool. Two, this video has a lot of topics that get described in much more detail in my No Left video, so go watch that before watching this. Also, I just created a Discord server where I can talk to you guys and give you sneak peeks of upcoming videos, so come join. The link's in the description. Alright, the rules. Shockingly, they are the same as last video. After entering the tutorial, we are met with this. To any normal player, this looks impossible without pressing right, but I'm not a normal person. With the knowledge of my last video, I can do this. In the middle of the level, we have our first fabric section, but in fabric sections you can't ground pound people, so it makes going right very difficult. Luckily, when you pick someone up at the peak of your jump, you get a tiny bit of extra height, which was just enough to jump up to this platform and continue on. Luckily, the rest of the level is easy. In order to make this video not too long, I will skip over most sections and levels since they look a lot like this. The problem in Fountain Gardens is the mech transformation. I think it speaks for obvious reasons that the only way to progress here is to go right. So I guess that means no, it isn't possible to beat Kirby's epic yarn without pressing right. But let's be honest, we already knew it wasn't possible, so let's figure out the minimum amount of times required to press right instead. And hey, this counter here in the bottom left corner of your screen will come in handy, so let's set it to 1 and beat the rest of the level. Flower Fields is a difficult level all around. Immediately there's this stupid freaking flower. It is pretty much just a conveyor but circle. But after enough tries, this happened, and I'm not entirely sure how. I bet you're guessing that the right counter might be about to go up to 2, since that was what I was thinking the moment I reached the UFO transformation, but I did have a glimmer of hope. If you run into a wall while being a UFO, you bounce back a little, but I was pretty sure that it wasn't going to be enough to reach here, but I kinda went willy-nilly pressing a bunch of buttons, and I learned that by bouncing off of a wall and alternating up and down, you somehow preserve all your vertical speed, which was enough to make it through, but it was not easy. Rainbow Falls was an obnoxious level. Along with taking forever to go right in the first place, there was also some water flowing on the ground, which is just another stupid conveyor belt. But it wasn't that bad. Oh no. This is some serious deja vu. The strategy for this section is to ground pound with Fluff, then have Fluff run off into this hole to respawn at Kirby. This worked until the ending of the section where the hole is now off screen, so it became a whole heck of a lot harder. I had to ground pound with Fluff, but instead of running left, start jumping, then grab him with Kirby. The main problem that makes this so hard is these stupid Waddle Dees. They spawn every couple of seconds, but they just bounce me farther from the exit, so it was super hard. But after enough tries, I was able to beat it and not add a right press to the count. Unlike no left presses, Big Bean Vine was very easy since I already knew the technique to beat it. Fangora wasn't very hard, all I had to do was jump, then throw someone to Fangora's tongue in order to defeat it. Pyramid Sand was very easy and doesn't even need to be talked about. Lava Landing, on the other hand, does need to be talked about. It started with these 3 lava things that you step on and they fall. In order to beat it, I had to pull a button to plug up a volcano, then quickly ground pound with Fluff to get Kirby on top of one of the lava things. Then send Fluff into the lava and parachute to keep Kirby alive, then repeat for the other 2 lava things. But right after was a required right press since there is no way to make it past this wall without going through the hole. My original plan was to press right with Fluff and keep going while Fluff pushes Kirby, but that costed a second right press for the level, so instead I joined the level with one player and just held right the entire time until you reach the volcano. Then it's an auto-scroller that you can't fail. I know it's not the most interesting solution, but it does have less right presses than other methods. Yeah, I don't think Cool Cave is possible. Anyways, just follow the strategy of pressing right the entire level to beat it. Dino Jungle followed a similar pattern as the last 2 levels. The problem is these moving dinosaurs, which the first is possible, but the second is not, so just press right the whole time. But you might be thinking, But if you keep pressing right, then you'll run off the dinosaur. Luckily, I think of everything, so you can parachute with Kirby to slow down and keep landing on the dino. Hot Wings was not hard, it just took a while since every time I messed up, I had to wait forever. Toy Track started out pretty easy until this spot, but eventually I figured out I could just throw Kirby, then smoosh Fluff and respawn him. Then there is a tiny fabric section that you can just throw Kirby with Fluff since he is facing right, then grab Fluff and reach the other side. At the very end of the level, there is a duck you have to grab to the right and wheel down a hill, which I can do, it just takes a long time. Mushroom Run didn't have any right presses, but it wasn't easy. It had a lot of awkward jumps and ground pounds, but it was definitely doable. Sweet Park starts like this, so I'm pretty sure it's impossible to do without pressing right, so just hold it for the whole level, which does skip the hardest part of not pressing left, so hey, that's pretty neat. Melody Town had 2 required French horn sections to progress, but luckily you can just hold right the entire time and make it through. Squashini is a boss. Yeah, he's not that bad. Splash Beach wasn't that hard of a level, but there was this section with an umbrella and a wall. You were supposed to open the umbrella, then use that button to jump up to it and over the wall. This wouldn't be a problem, but the stupid umbrella closes after a few seconds, making it really difficult. After a while of just going for it, I eventually got Kirby up to the edge of the wall while Fluff was at the bottom, but I couldn't grab Fluff, so I started to... Oh yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. This don't work, but then all of a sudden do. Great game design! Alright, I've managed to avoid talking about this for 3.5 worlds, but I think it's finally time to mention what I thought was going to make this impossible. This is water. Water doesn't let you ground pound, so this is going to take a lot of right presses, right? Well, when talking about the tutorial level, I purposefully skipped the water section because I actually discovered something. You can still grab things underwater, so as long as one person is facing right, you can still go right, but it's even slower than the ground pound strategy, so it makes it torture. But seeing as I can go right, surely Blub Blub Ocean is a cakewalk, right? Nope, you gotta press right because the stupid current pushes you before you can grab the other person. Great thing I just spent 10 minutes getting here in the slowest way possible to realize that I have to hold right the entire level instead. Secret Island was pretty easy. The only difficult part was the section with the ladders over nothing. They just required some quick throwing with Fluff, but they really weren't that hard. Deep Dive Deep had some very realistic underwater volcanoes, which were tricky, but with the right timing they were fine. The real struggle of this level comes in the second half. Nah, I'm just kidding, it's an auto-scroll. Kapamari truly terrified me. There's no way to face right, so if I messed up I was gonna have to start all the way over. And with the only way of moving right being horrendously slow, it would be terrible to start over. So now that the stakes are really high, this fight wasn't any easier. As you all probably know, you have to unravel Kapamari's hat, which is right. That wouldn't be a big deal, but there are stupid tentacles I can grab and throw you all the way to the left. Yeah, this wasn't fun, but it was 100% possible, and the second phase was easy since Cap was stupid. There wasn't anything too difficult about Snowy Fields, it was just another long and tedious level. Cozy Cabin was another easy level since it happens to be an auto-scroller. Wait, Mount Slide is another auto-scroller. Yeah, no right presses here. Frosty Wheel, on the other hand, was not so easy. The first part was totally manageable, and the second part with the Frosty Wheels was fine, but the ending was not. It didn't have one really far jump. It didn't even have 2. Not even 3. It had 4 really far jumps. Why? For the first 3 jumps, I turned into ice from the nearby chili, then broke out right at the edge to jump and keep my momentum. That worked great, but then came the 4th jump. Yeah, no. There's no chili, and even if there was, it's uphill, so you just slide the other way. And the gap's even too far apart anyway, so time to add another right press. On a better note, King DDD was easy. Spaceland starts out with Future City, and in Future City, there are these really annoying platforms that move back and forth when you step on them, and they gave me a lot of trouble. There was also another UFO section, but from what happened in Flower Fields, we all know with that enough patience and bouncing, UFO sections are doable. Tube Town was surprisingly simple, it was just very long. Mysterious UFO was also really easy and fun too. Alright, back to Pain. Stellar Way has a bunch of spinning platforms. Some are very nice and spin counterclockwise, taking curbs left, but a lot of them go clockwise, which is very difficult. Most of the level was just brute forcing until I was in the right spot to move forward, but there was this section with 2 stars spinning away from each other with meteors falling from the sky. This was hard because I had to be quick, but I'm not quick, and the meteors were not helping, but I was able to get it after enough tries. Then there was a rocket section that was easy. Shockingly, Meta Knight was the hardest boss fight up to this point, but since you can't die, I got it in one try, it just took forever. And with that, we are already in Dreamland, with only 8 right presses, which is kind of shocking. Starting Dreamland, we have Wispy's Forest, which was just like any other level. Make sure to have someone facing right for the fabric sections, and give Kirby a really big concussion. At the end of the level, there was a mech transformation, so it did require a right press. Ha, you thought that was all. It has 2 right presses. All Tempest Tower took was some careful positioning and waiting for the wind to go right. The upward section was easy. Cloud Palace, on the other hand, was not easy. It starts out fine, but then there's a big button section over nothing, which it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but stupid fluff kept getting in the way, which made it super annoying. Right before the end of the level, there's a section with bouncy Krakos, and it was pretty hard because the platforms would move and mess me up. Oh yeah, the boss fight against Krako was there too, I guess. Castle DDD started off pretty easy. Okay, who am I kidding? This was hard. Somehow I accidentally got Fluff facing left, so I did have to restart, but what I was able to do was get really far off to the right, then grab Kirby with Fluff and jump up the balls until I could throw Kirby up and Fluff would fly up when he dies. I had to do that a few more times until I reached this section. There was a very tall wall I climbed up thanks to the balls, but then I was stuck up here and just kept falling down. Then I realized I was an idiot and could just do what I was already doing a bunch earlier in the level, and boom! All the regular levels are done, leaving only the final fight against Yin Yarn. First I beat Fangora, then I threw Fluff up to this door, then I beat Kapamari easily because he decided to go right next to me again. He's done that literally every single time. What is wrong with him? Then I went up to another door and threw some stuff at Yin Yarn and it was over. A pretty climactic ending, but at least it didn't require another right press. So, is it possible to beat Kirby's Epic Yarn without pressing right? Well, no, but I'm sure everybody saw that coming. But hey, it only took 10 presses to beat it, which even shocked me. Alright, see you guys in the next one. Bye.